Hey guys, my name is Ty. A lot of you probably know me, but I realize a lot of people watching this channel have no idea who I am or what I do. So that's why I'm recording this short YouTube video. Just gonna walk you through my story so far. There are deer. Look at the deer. Look at the deer. Oh my gosh, he's running. He's running. He's running. He just ran back there, dude.
Aw, rats.
Okay, pause it and then we'll stitch it all together. You guys on this channel, you'll see the story from this point forward, but I didn't do a good job documenting this stuff before here. So let's talk about how I got here. How did I get here? So it really all started back in 2016 when there was a presidential election here in the US, which is kind of a strange thing to draw me to business. But what happened was I was learning a lot about economics and political science in my classes at high school, and I got super into it, right? Whenever it's election season here in the US, pretty much everyone gets into it. It's a very polarizing thing. So I started studying economics and political science back in 2016, and I really enjoyed it. I thought at that time that I was going to be an economist or something in politics, lobbying, something like that. So I really went all in on that, learning about those things. And at that time, I started to take a lot of math classes, a lot of statistics classes, a lot of that stuff, because I realized that for me to get into an economics school, I'd have to have lots of calculuses, statistics classes, all of that done. So I was doing all of that. And it was at this time that I had a joke with my friends that I was going to DM Kim Kardashian on Instagram, like slide into her DMs. And it wasn't a joke anymore. I decided that I was actually gonna do it. And what happened was I realized if I wanted Kim Kardashian to see my DMs, I would need to have lots and lots of followers. Sounds like a very silly story, but it's 100% the truth. So I was taking this joke a little too far and trying to figure out what can I do to grow followers on Instagram. And I studied all of the YouTube videos, and what came in really helpful here was my background in math. I took a lot of data and statistics that Instagram gives you natively, and I learned how to use that data to kind of artificially work the algorithms in a way. Everyone's familiar that social media has algorithms, but what I tried to do is take the data that Instagram gave me and use it to reverse engineer those algorithms, which is just silly. There's so much that goes into those algorithms. It's not even just one algorithm. So the idea of reverse engineering them, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work that way. But I still learned how to grow Instagram pages. And back in 2017, 2018, I had over 1 million followers. At my peak, about 1.2 million followers, just running what we call Instagram theme pages, which are basically pages that just curate content. They repost stuff. You probably follow a few on Instagram. I might pop a couple on the screen here just to kind of show you what I was running. I was running a lot of pages in the travel niche, and I thought I was killing it, right? To have over 1 million followers at like 17 was awesome. But then I realized I'm not making any money off this stuff. I had so many followers, but I didn't have any process for monetizing on those pages. And I didn't really know how to solve that problem. So I was running them, and then I had a friend whose mom was starting a nonprofit. Now, my friend's mom, she asked me for some Instagram advice. So I got on a call with her, and I sat there for hours just explaining what I knew about Instagram. And at the end of that call, she offered to hire me. And then I realized, oh my gosh, there's more money in doing this for other people than there is in doing this for myself. So at that point, I realized I should start an agency. And of course, there was a long trip between then and this point now. For those of you guys who don't know, my marketing agency, Livesy Marketing, is my full-time business. And what I was doing back in the day is I was doing everything for everyone. I was offering all sorts of services to every single business that would ever take me on. So I really struggled with the fundamentals for a really long time. Now it's like right as COVID started, and I just started my agency, which was a huge blessing. If you're running a marketing agency and everyone has to go online, it was really a great time to be in the agency space. Now was a good time too, but back then everything was popping off. So end of 2017 going into 2018, I had a lot of I had a lot of really hard personal stuff happening in my life. A lot of like really nasty things. I didn't get into my dream college that year as well, and I was just in a really bad place mentally. So I did get into a college, and in 2018 I started to go to college for economics and political science, which at this time is still what I thought I wanted to do. And I put everything I had into running these online businesses that I was learning. Back in the day, I was doing Instagram theme pages. I had like some affiliate marketing stuff going on, some drop servicing. I tried a bunch of different business models. None of them really made all that money, but I had done a lot of different things, and I was really just, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but I was definitely angry. And I poured all of that anger and negative energy into running and starting these businesses, which is not healthy. And there's a lot of things that even now at 22, I'm still working through. But I had to go to a really dark place, and I used a lot of that energy to start the business that I'm starting now, or the business that I'm running now, my agency. But then 2019, 2020 rolls around and COVID happened. Now, if you're running a marketing agency during COVID, it was really kind of a crazy time because every business is going online, but at the same time, some businesses just can't afford to stay open even. So a lot of big shifts in the market. I started my agency like late 2019, early 2020. When I started, I was delivering every service to everyone. Like I learned web design, I learned Google, Facebook ads. I learned, of course, I knew Instagram marketing. I learned all this stuff, and I was ready to sell anything to anyone who would buy. Same thing, I was working with everyone. And back in 2020 is when I started taking on clients like as an actual company. My first client was just $150 a month, which is pathetic. I wouldn't recommend anyone take on a client for $150 a month right now, but it was a start, and it gave me proof of concept. I learned that I could do it and I could make money doing these things. So at that point, I decided that really like I was going to go all in on these businesses. I was working through a lot of that personal stuff, a lot of those personal problems at this time. I read like over 150 self-development and business books. I mean, I really went hard on this. I spent over $10,000 on coaches, consultants, courses, mentors, stuff like that. And then I was running my agency, originally working with photographers, and then we decided to work with everyone again. And now we finally settled on real estate agents. So that's who we primarily work with now. There are a few odd brands that we work with from time to time, but that is the story so far. Is there anything else I need to put in there? So that is really just a high-level synopsis of what has happened to me over the last 5 years, or what I've done over the last 5 years. I'm sure there's a lot of minor details that I'm missing. There was a lot of real personal hurt and personal problems that I had to work through to get my business to the point now where I can travel and do fun things like this. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm currently in the mountains in Georgia, the state, not the country. We've got a beautiful Airbnb here. It overlooks a very cool forest of sticks, but it's a really cool place. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that throughout these last 5 years, from like 2016 up until, well, that's bad math, up until 2023, which is today, I learned a lot of high income skills, and I learned a lot of personal development. And those are really the two things that helped me get to the point that I'm at now. High income skills, I learned how to do social media, I learned how to do marketing, I learned how to do graphic design, which I don't consider a high income skill, but I can stack all these skills now, and I can offer things at a very high level. So that's one thing that I did, stacking those high income skills. Another thing is just really taking a deep look at myself and learning how to work with myself. I mentioned that back in 2017, 2018, I had some really rough years, and that was definitely the fuel for what's happened so far. Since then, I continue to really try to focus on where I'm at as a person, because I know that so many people think they have business problems, but they actually have problems in their personal life showing up in their business. But one thing I do now is I go to church here. I've become a Christian over the last year or so. I've really opened myself up socially, and I'm working on finding a little more balance. Oh, you're still recording? Mm-hmm. You're good, Christina. We can edit the sound, so it's not a problem. Yeah, okay. You're good. We saw deer earlier.
You did?
Yeah, right out there. So the reason I'm starting YouTube now is I'm trying to learn, yet again, another high income skill. This has been really a hobby for me, and it's been a ton of fun. And if you guys enjoyed these videos, or if there's something specific that you want to hear more about in my journey, or if you're curious just to see where I go from here, I plan on taking my business to multiple 6 and even 7 figures. So if you guys are interested in seeing that journey and seeing a no filter, everything that I've done to get here, please do subscribe, drop a like, and I will see you guys in the next one.